Hey, welcome to Influencers in Vinings Church. My name is Justin Craig, and our mission with this podcast is the company that you keep keeps. Let me redo that because this is all new. It's all new content, not flowing just yet. It needs to be smoother. Hey, welcome back to Influencers in Vinings Church. You know, the company that you keep influences the impact of your feet, and we are displaying businesses, putting them on a display for the Smyrna, Northwest Atlanta area so that they can highlight the difference that they're making in Atlanta. And specifically today, I've got Mike Kervin, who is an owner or franchisee of L&L here in the Smyrna Market Village, and he's going to tell his story today and the heart behind why he is doing what he's doing, what drives him to make the impact and really serve our community. So welcome, Mike. Glad that you're here today. Thank you for joining us. I want to hear your story and unpack everything and really get to the heart behind L&L and what presence it's making here in Smyrna. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey and then how you got started in the restaurant industry?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me and my wife here today. My journey began basically in the food and beverage industry, 20 years ago, starting working for companies like Coca-Cola in the beverage industry and then moving into launching brands in the retail and startup world and different categories, and then, getting deeper into what makes those brands work. So in the manufacturing and supply chain and kind of getting my hands around everything, helping them from ground up. And that kind of helped me always. I've always had like this entrepreneurial spirit about how I wanted to run my own business and things like that. And so that kind of helped me keep moving closer and closer to that. And then, I had an opportunity to get into franchising or the restaurant world with a couple other different franchises that, we're pretty far along with them, but nothing really ever felt right or felt like at home. And so a few years ago, an opportunity to engage with L&L and look into a franchise opportunity to bring to Smyrna came up. We started the conversations and we were approved, and that started the journey to find the right spot and find get the construction going and that whole journey. But before that, how I was even introduced into L&L is that, my wife and we met back in 2011 at a mutual friend's birthday party, and she is from Hawaii, and I'm always been intrigued by Hawaii, so it was, just us meeting and being able to hear the stories of where she grew up and how she grew up, and running on the beach, things like that, and it was just always been amazing. And then she blessed me by agreeing to marry me. And, we went on our honeymoon to Hawaii, and it was just an amazing experience. It felt like home as soon as I stepped in.
And that was your first time going?
That was my first time going, and Ruth being from Hawaii, it was kind of you got to bypass trying to be the tourist, right? You got to go right into the culture and seeing what the locals do and do those kind of things, going to the farmers markets and the local shops and seeing the shack on the side of the road is the best restaurant around, things like that. Yeah. And being immersed into the culture was just, it was an awesome experience. And
felt like home.
One thing she said is like, when we're going, you're going to go eat the places we ate and do the things we did growing up. And one of the places was L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. And I fell in love with it as soon as I saw the picture, right? And it was hamburger patties with egg on top and gravy and rice, and it was just everything I just love.
But Hawaiian.
But it's in Hawaii, and so it was a meal called a locomoco, and we were on our honeymoon for 10 days, and I ate the locomoco for 8 of those days, and it was something that anytime from then on, if we'd go back to Hawaii or if we were on the West Coast or going through North Carolina, if we passed to the L&L, we had to eat there. Yeah. We had to eat there. Yeah. And then one day we were eating at one, and I was like, why have I never thought about this? We always talked about how awesome it would be to have an L&L close to Smyrna and to be able to bring something like that around. And so that sparked the call to L&L and to
Mm-hmm.
get the process going. And then it was about a 2-year journey to find the right spot. Right, it was we're Smyrna residents. We've been here for almost 20 years, and how do we find something that we can bring to Smyrna? Where's the right spot
Add
to Smyrna?
value here. Yeah.
And there was a spot in Smyrna Market Village that we would always say, if this spot ever opened up, it'd be perfect. And it opened up. And so we were able to get the process going and just really start to bring this dream, to start to bring it to fruition. And I always said, if we can't be in Hawaii, it'd be great to bring a little bit of it here. There's nothing else like it around. And then, Smyrna is a place that culturally and like the diversity is growing and it's spreading, and to be able to bring that cultural aspect, and then to have people, the Polynesian culture, the Hawaiians, the Filipinos, everybody that grew up in Hawaii, to come out and to add
Support it.
their support, and all
it
that's
feels like
been
home
great.
to them. It's a piece of home here in Atlanta.
Absolutely, and so to bring that Aloha spirit has been awesome.
Yeah.
And
now, tell me, I want to stop you, and then I want to hear the rest of that. But
Sure.
the scent, you were born and raised here, right here in America, so you're very Americanized, even though you might
Absolutely.
look a little bit Hawaiian. Are you Polynesian descent? What?
I'm half Korean.
Okay,
and
Korean.
Yep, and half Caucasian.
Okay.
So my mom is from South Korea. My father's from South Alabama, and we grew up in South Augusta. So
I wondered if they had come in from Hawaii, but that's awesome. So that background, and then it's Hawaiian barbecue mostly. And so,
Sure.
Is there any connection to Korean barbecue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, the history, what we serve is called a mixed plate. And so the history behind the mixed plate was all the field workers in Hawaii, the working in the pineapple or sugarcane fields, at lunchtime, there was just a mixture of cultures: Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Filipino, Vietnamese. They were all working together, so they would share their lunches. So that's how the mixed plate came.
Mixed plate,
and
yep.
so there's Korean, there's Chinese, there's Japanese. There's a little bit of aspect of everything in one plate. And that's what makes Hawaiian barbecue different from Southern barbecue. And it's chicken, pork, and beef, but I would say the marinades and just the kind of spirit behind it. It's a mixture
Special
of a
spice.
lot of East Asian cultures.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That takes you to Hawaiian and Polynesian, and that's awesome. Yeah. The closest I was married in. We went on our honeymoon to Maui, but that's the last time I've been to Hawaii, and so my closest thing to Polynesian has been a restaurant like yours or the Polynesian sauce at Chick-fil-A. So that's pretty much. I'm pretty bad, but we're gonna get the family to come to
That's
L&L. I
awesome.
haven't been, and so.
And that's one of the great aspects of it too, is that we have people that come in the restaurant in this past month that say, I haven't been to Hawaii since 1985, and this brings back so many memories. Or just like yourself, I haven't been there in 20 years, but you can still have that taste and that smell of the islands, and just to be able to bring that to Smyrna has just been a blessing. And overall, it's we want to serve God in any way and in everything we do, and this is a way to be of service. Like I've mentioned a lot, that Ruth always says, I'm happiest when I'm serving somebody or helping
talk to us
somebody.
about that, because there's a deeper meaning for you to just serving food, and there's the community aspect, but I especially want you to tell me about your heart for service and what that does to your heart.
Yeah, one thing I growing up, there wasn't a lot of resources growing up. We weren't a well-to-do family, but one thing we always had was plenty to eat. And so one thing is, like, if I'm in this industry, I always want somebody to, like, if you're going to leave my spot, I want you to be full and satisfied, right? I can't let anybody go hungry. And so it's this one thing that's always just tugged on my heart as this, like, how can I help somebody? How can I be of service to someone? No matter how big or small it is, Of course, when you're thinking about it, you have these grand visions of how to help all these people, and you lose sight of, like, it could be as small as bringing a mixed plate to someone, and then having a conversation.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm naturally an introverted person. My wife is a very extroverted person, and I think that's kind of like she intrigued me. I was like, oh, how do you go out there and you're just so comfortable around everybody, and I'm not, you know. And but this is a way for me to have that interaction and on a one-on-one basis, and to hear someone's story and to learn, like, how did you hear about L&L, or is this first time you've ever seen it? What brought you in here? What brought you to the area? And then to be able to bring like a different cultures into one spot is just in 1 month, it's just been a blessing, because it feels like there's a higher calling than just putting out food now. It's like building this community around this restaurant. It's been awesome. And then to learn different ways how you can help somebody, to see like a conversation while they're waiting to get their food changes somebody's entire day. Right. And stuff. It's been great.
Today is Lay Day, and Ruth is here joining us, and she gave us these lays that I meant to mention here at the top of the podcast, but she has been a tremendous support to Mike throughout this. And you also mentioned your faith a little bit here. You've had a lot of adversity, especially during COVID, right? I would imagine with the restaurant industry being hit so hard. Whenever you have adversity, how does faith affect that? And then maybe walk me through how Ruth is such a support and really an anchor for you.
Sure. One thing, and personally, just kind of taking a couple steps back, I didn't grow up in the church. So, and Ruth, my father-in-law, her father is a church planner. They grew up very grounded in their faith. So one thing that I often forget is that I don't have to do it all by myself, right? There's a higher calling. There's someone out there to help you, give it to God. And Ruth has always been rock solid. There's days when I feel like the ground is crumbling under me, and she's there with the most solid backbone I've ever seen, and says, God, give it to God. Don't forget to pray. Don't forget that there's someone out there that can help you through all of this. And I always say it's her, but it's her. She has always been, when I start to feel like my connection to my faith and God is loosening, she's always been there to help me tighten my grip back.
Bring it back
and
to him.
So she's been the biggest blessing in my life. Without her, I couldn't have done this. She's always been, when I didn't know where to turn, she's helped me find the right spot. And she has a career of her own, and she's made time to help me start this venture. And she's just an amazing support that God has blessed me with and blessed our children with, because she's not only a wonderful mother and wonderful wife and supporter of what we're doing, but she's she makes time to be a fantastic mother as well. And so
beautiful.
God has definitely blessed me, and without her helping me through the hard times, we helped each other through COVID. There was a time we thought we were going to have to live off the land, right? But she was there to support me and never let me forget. It's like, remember this road we're on, where you want to go, where you want to be. And it's been tremendous.
You guys have been married 12 years.
12 years.
And you have 2 kids.
Yeah, Reagan and Rowan. Reagan is 9, Rowan is 7. They're a tremendous blessing as well. They're so excited about the venture, and they're great little hosts for everyone. Rowan, my son, thinks everything's free, right? He thinks, he's like, just grab it and go. And it's like, but it's been fantastic to see how they get involved and how excited and willing they are to.
Have you taken them back to Hawaii yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're regulars, right?
They love it.
About once a year, I bet.
They had a great time this year. They got to go be at the beach, and then when they came back in January, it snowed here, so they got to go to the beach and snow within a week.
Fantastic.
So it's been fantastic.
Yeah. Do you go back for like trainings, and is their headquarters, their L&L's headquarters?
It's headquartered in Honolulu. So I was there for 3 weeks for training in January, and then we have like conferences once a year, things like that we'll start to go to.
You get to take the family when that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little business trip, but also some vacation as well. That's beautiful. Well, is there a mistake that you've made with L&L where you learned something valuable? Maybe even tying it back to the lesson on community and the way in which you can get deeper into people's stories.
I would say I probably make a mistake every day, and it's, thank God they're not all big, and but there's always something to learn, right? There's always, and I think the biggest thing I've learned so far in a month is that being the owner and you have to wear a lot of hats, but you don't have to wear the hat for every
All the time.
project that needs to be done. And so I've learned to let my staff, because they've been trained and they're very well versed on what to do. I've learned to let them do their job and work, and and trust that the overall vision and goal that we have, we share together. So that's been a big learning, to be able to, because I'm also kind of like, I feel like I'm always one that's trying to fix it, right? And that's a conversation Ruth and I always have. She's like, you don't always have to try to fix it, right? So learning to kind of like step back and go, okay, you're doing what needs to be done. And it allows me to start to be more a part of the community and do things, because I think in the beginning, it was easy for me to kind of hide behind the operations, and Ruth's so good in the community. I was like, Ruth, you be the face.
You be the front face? Wow.
Right, but it's allowed me to get out there and then to start to have those conversations and those one-on-ones, and really dive into what we can do as a community, and start to make partnerships and work with the vendors around us and things like that. So.
Wonderful. Well, you mentioned your staff team, and we can end here, but tell me what you're doing with your staff, how you build into them. Do you teach leadership principles in your staff meeting, and what's the vision that you cast to them about the difference that you're making?
Absolutely. We start every day with a prayer, and because one thing that I want everyone to understand is that we are here for a higher, bigger purpose than to serve food today. And so one thing I pray to God every day, we pray that, they feel empowered and confident. And, when adversity comes, they stay calm and collected, and they understand where to go. And so the leadership qualities, I have people in place that are head cook and head prep. And I was like, I let them teach as well, the other folks. And two, we make sure that we include people not, that are from Smyrna, but also have connections and to the culture, and that can bring, some insight that, I'm from Georgia, and someone who grew up in Hawaii knows much more about Hawaii than me. And we like to make sure that we have people in place that can provide that cultural experience. And then, overall, I think, the biggest mission for us is to not only grow the business and the awareness of L&L, but really the awareness and the beautiful, I guess, for lack of a better word, the beauty of